Welcome along then to the show, everybody. We are here for Silver. We are here in Season 10, Round 10, then the halfway point of the Silver season is coming up then at the end of lap 26 here tonight then, and we're just waiting for one to get themselves into the lobby, and then we can get ourselves started then for this round as well then here in Silverstone of Great Britain. Yes, we're just ready to get going. Good stuff. We'll run through the championship, shall we, as we wait, and hopefully we can get a go-ahead then very soon of what is going to be happening here. Then we're having a few technical difficulties with the EA servers then, so hopefully we can get ourselves through the race then, and then they can go and die after that, but and they come back tomorrow hopefully. Anyway, in the Drivers' Championship then, Miranov leads the way with 112 points, then not racing tonight then with some unforeseen issues as well. Then Duke then in P2 with 83 points and has got himself back in the car this time then, unfortunately not having a good outing then in Austria last week. Mark is back as well then with 80 points then in the top three of the Drivers' Championship. Then Kiki in P4 with 71 points as well then, so is Raging Bull then after a fantastic win last week in Austria as well. And yes, so that's P5, sorry. Tori in P6 then has got himself in the lobby then. Thankfully, Nigel as well. Then the same in P7 then for the Haas team. 300p jumping up to P8 then with the Haas team as well. Then after jumping in later on in the season and after the start, Kamara Racer then P9. And Coop rounds off the top 10 in the Drivers' Championship then. In the Constructors, McLaren 192 points then for the Papaya McLaren team. Williams then in P2 with 115 points there for Duke and for Ginner as well. Then Red Bull then in P3 with 112 points, only 3 points separating P3 and 2 in the Constructors' Championship then. So Red Bull then only a couple of points away, well, only 3 points away literally from joining the top of the order then in the Constructors. Then Alpine in P4 then 106 points then. We've got Aston Martin on 89 points in P5, Haas with 81 in P6, Racing Bulls then 52 with P7, then Kick Sauber with 47 in P8, then Mercedes with 24 in P9, and Ferrari with 17 in P10. And I think we've got the call to get ourselves started here then as we crack on. Then we've got ready up signs then from everybody then. And there we go. We can crack on. And hopefully, well, fingers crossed anyway, the servers will be nice and well, looking after us anyway tonight. We'll find out then. Equalizer said Silverstone then as well then, of course, with silver all in capitals there, because I think he means that it's Silver season 10 round 10 here in Silverstone as well then. So they're looking forward to seeing how that's going to unfold as we do get ourselves started now, and hopefully we can get everybody on track then and get themselves through the race then without any EA difficulties. Can't guarantee that, to be fair, can we? But there we are. As we crack on then, we'll get ourselves loaded into qualifying. Then we've got to find out firstly what the weather's going to be doing as well then as we get ourselves ready for the British Grand Prix then for Silver. And we will take it away in just a jiffy then when we get ourselves loaded in. Hopefully Luke can join in during the session then, in the qualifying session of course. And he will make up the order then because he is missing. So if anybody can find him, then just let us know. Give him a shout and tell him he needs to get in the lobby as quickly as possible there as well. Then Raging Bull is just getting his strategy sorted in terms of his tyre allocation. And will we have a nice dry race around here then, or will we see some rain as we saw in I think it was PSGL, wasn't it, where Jarno Opmeer did his now infamous pit entry to win the Grand Prix, which was then taken away from him there. So well, anybody caught doing that sort of thing then in Silver then tonight then will be given the same treatment. So there we go. As we do get ourselves loaded in, a bit of an overcast start to qualifying then, so it's not as nice and sunny as it was then in Gold last night then, which was an actually incredible race indeed then from Gold. But we have got ourselves started then with 19 drivers then, hopefully one to join then in this qualifying session as well then. Silver, oh dear, I don't know if I can read that one out on YouTube, then they might ban me. But Silver something, says Mushroom as well then, good stuff indeed. And there we are, we've got ourselves into the session. And so far, everything's holding up just about then. So fingers crossed the EA servers then do not cause any more kerfuffles then, as we had a bit of a horrible and terrible time trying to get the lobby set up then, as a few drivers are having technical difficulties there with the thanks to EA. But we are underway, and we've got Kamara Racing then leading us away then out of the garage then as well. Very long pit lane here as well. We've got to see, we might see some two-stop strategies then. We might see some those trying to eke the tyres out then as well then for a one-stop. Then either way then it is it's a very difficult strategic race, I should say, if I can't even say the word then to get me words out. But that's why I don't know what I'm doing there. He got a pen that wasn't in the rule book. Technically, well, they did say it was in the rule book because it was classed as unsportsmanlike and not within the competition rules or whatever it was there. Not competing in all fairness or whatever it is there. So yeah, I don't know. Yes, it's an odd one, but technically, I think that if that happened in a actual Formula One race as well, then especially well, it would only happen around here, wouldn't it? But if it happened in an actual Formula One race, I think the driver probably would face some sort of penalty there for that. What penalty it would be is another question, but I would say that the FIA will probably do something about that. And again, it probably would be down to like the sporting code and conduct and all that sort of stuff, wouldn't it? But there we go. Enough about that then. We don't need to worry about it at the moment because, of course, in qualifying it doesn't matter at all, and we'll have to wait and see then if the weather is going to be playing a factor then, because I don't think in the dry that strategy in the pit entry then does work if it's dry compound tyres, that is. We'll wait and see then as Kamara Racing then will lead us away then for the first flying lap then of the qualifying session. 15 minutes to go here in Silverstone then to set the grid then for this round 10 affair, as yellow flag then, I think that's just somebody slowing down to start off their flying lap as Kamara Race then flying through then into turn 3, then into sector 2 and momentarily there as well, then firstly through turn 4, and this is where the low speed of the corners then can really step that back end out as you try to put the power down, but he's managed to keep that under control very nicely indeed. And now heading down towards sector 2 we go then into sector 2. It's a 27.3 then for the first sector. We'll have to keep an eye on those sector times as we go through qualifying to see who is doing the most as we go around Luffield now then and on to the old back straight, onto Old Main Straight, sorry. There's too many straights. So there we go. As we head down towards Copse Corner, the old turn 1, and now we finish off that part of the circuit. Then we go now into Maggots and Beckett's. The next challenging part of this circuit is getting it through here quickly but concisely as well. Then as we go through, then Maggots and Beckett's very nicely done indeed from Kamara Racing on that back end, trying to steer away. Then as we go through now onto the Hanger Straight then, and heading towards Stowe Corner now as well. Then the DRS opens then as we go towards Stowe, and now on the brakes we go then and into that right-hander then, making sure you keep it nice and tight to the inside then, and now down the hill towards Vale and Club then for Kamara Racing. Then what's it going to be for the first time on the board in this qualifying session? Then through Club Corner we go then for the kick salve. Then let's see what the timing sheets are going to say, and it is a 26.6 to set ourselves underway in qualifying here. Great stuff indeed. Not Kiki, it's Coop next across the line. Then here comes Coop up to the line. It's a 27.2 for the Red Bull driver, then puts himself P2 for now, as we get ourselves a few times tumbling in. The 25.7 though from Sweet MJP. That is something to shout home about then as well. Then Sweet MJP for the Haas team then is looking pretty far out there as well tonight. Then 26.4 for Max then in P2, now displacing Kamara Racer. Then Kiki jumps up to a P3 with a 26.5 in the other Red Bull car. Then Ginner there 26.7 for the Williams then as well. Then Torre 27.2. Coop then 27.2 as well. Then R2B a 27.7 on the dot there as well, which is good stuff indeed. KD with a 27.1 as well then for the Alpine machine. He's reserving in place of Vessia tonight then as well then in the Alpine car. Then we've also got Mad Max, who's in the McLaren from Muradov. Then Duke has done a 26.2, puts himself P2 and on the front row of the grid then for the Williams team. Times tumbling in then. Kaidel's done 27.7 as well then into P11. Then Jay Hings is coming through into Luffield now as well. Then where is Nigel? Then Nigel heading through the last couple of corners. There's a car going slowly then into Copse Corner, but I think that's just a car getting out of the way then of those on their flying laps. And here comes Nigel flying through then up into P10 with the 27.4, and good stuff indeed. Then into the top 10 then for the Haas team. Both cars looking good in the top 10 then for Haas. Then Jay Hings coming through into Maggots and Beckett's. Those cars who have finished their laps are just trying to get out of the way then of this Mercedes, and he's coming through into, he's invalidated going through the Maggots and Beckett's corners then as well then, unfortunately for Jay Hings, and that is going to cost him that lap time. Of course there's still plenty of time for him to set another time on the board then later on in the qualifying session there, but unfortunately then for this time it is not going to be good enough then for Jay Hings, and unfortunately that track limit then has been costly indeed. But he's going to carry on then, it looks like. So let's see what he can do then. We'll see what time he was going to do then as well as we go through into club corner then. All that back end stepping up then as he goes on the power a bit too early. Then now heading into the start-finish line. 27.7 then would have put him on par with Kaidel and R2 beat as well then. Good stuff. As we go again then, Coop then going again as well, heading down into sector 2 then. He has gained 0.02 of a second there in the first sector then compared to his previous lap time then, so maybe he needs to find a couple more tenths then in the next couple of sectors, but can he do it? I'm sure he can. Into Luffield we go then, and now onto the exit and powering away with some ERS then and top speed as we go through now onto the old main straight then down towards Copse Corner, then flinging it in and hoping it sticks then, and it has stuck thankfully for the Red Bull as we now head into Maggots and Beckett's then as well then, now flying through, making sure, as we saw with Jay Hings then, making sure you keep within those track limits is going to be very difficult around here because you want to get the maximum speed then through these corners. And now onto the hanger straight then we go then, as Coop has found 78,000 of a second now as well, so that would put him ahead of Toria for the time being and potentially from KD as well. We'll have to wait and see then what the rest of the sector is going to be looking like in sector 3. But now Coop then down the hill into Vale, and now into Club Corner we go then for the Red Bull driver. Then let's see what it's going to be then from Coop's second attempt now, keeping that car nice and steady on the exit there as well, heading up to the line. What's it going to be then? Coop has improved to P7 with a 27.1 and looking very good indeed then on that second run as well there. Fantastic. Rightio. Good stuff. It's Lewis Riley, Irvine's teammate then going through. Oh dear, then that is a bit of a in-connection problem there, I think, then for Lewis Riley. Oh God, yes, that is terrible. He's done a 27.0 somehow, but that car does not look like it is stable on the circuit for sure. So hopefully Lewis can do something about that then before qualifying is done and dusted. Will we ever race at Germany again then, says Zach Quazin. I hope so. Go Kaidel then, says Thibaut as well then in the comment section as well then. 9 says Mushroom as well. Good stuff then. Had my first league race there, was lapped 3 times, but made me love the game. Good stuff indeed. Hockenheim, that was the one. Yeah, that was, I can't remember what it was. Was it 20? I think it was it 2020 or 2019? That was the last iteration of the Hockenheim ring then in F1 games, that is. But hopefully, like I said, hopefully one day it will come back then, maybe even as like a classic track or a historic track as well. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? But we've got as Marquez jumped up to a 26.2, then puts himself on the front row ahead of Duke then by a few thousandths of a second then from McLaren, then of course returning after a hiatus, then I think a holiday hiatus that was, not allowed of course then in ALR, but he has somehow snuck away there and got himself a holiday and now back in the action as well then. Farf going through Luffield, then where is Sloth? Then Sloth coming up to Stowe Corner, then not much battery left in that racing ball, then heading into the final couple of corners then for Sloth, and now through Stowe Corner we go then for the racing ball driver. Then let's see what he can do then in the final couple of corners now as we go through Vale and now into Club then for Sloth. Then what's it going to be? That car drifting wide then at Club Corner, then now up to the line for Sloth. What's it going to be? It's a 27.1, puts himself P10 for the time being. Good stuff indeed. Farf now heading on to Stoke. Oh, he's on the hanger straight, I should say, but unfortunately then he's invalidated his time going through Maggots and Beckett's, I think that was. We've got a problem there for a McLaren. Then it's maybe, no, it's not Mad Max, it's somebody else. It's a Williams, it's Duke. What's happened to Duke then? Duke is going very slowly there, and well, that's not good news. He's got himself back underway quickly enough, though. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. He's on an out lap then, so he is now starting another flying lap here. But that was a bit odd then from Duke. Then not sure what's happening there for the Williams driver. Then he's back underway then and back on a flying lap then to attack the lap once again. Then fancy going on holiday mid-season. Just wrong, isn't it? Says Mushroom. Yes, it is indeed. F1 2019 was the last Hockenheim F1 Grand Prix on the game. That is. But there we are then. We've got Aston Martin, I think, of either R2 beat or Tory, then getting out of the way of this man here. Then the Duke then heading into Sector 2 then is 56,000 up on his previous time, then heading into Luffield now. And that car is looking very stiff indeed then, if I can say such words. But now onto the old main straight we go then for Duke. Kamara Racer, I'm sorry, Kamara Racer, I completely missed it, but he's having the P3 then, looking good indeed. Then Kamara's had a good few qualifyings in the last few rounds there. Duke then going a bit wide then into Copse Corner on the exit, then that might have cost him a few thousandths of a second second as well. Then heading into Maggots and Beckett's we go now for the Williams driver. Then let's see what he can do into sector 3 as we get through that complex of corners. That was very dodgy stuff indeed, wasn't it? He has gained a bit of time there as well. Then he's now 168 thousandths up in his previous time, which would put him in the range then of a second row of the grid. Then Kiki's jumped up to a 26.0, then puts himself on the second row of the grid, then front row of the grid, I should say. Mad Max has improved then to P3 ahead of his teammate Marcus. And McLaren all run row 2, goodness me, unless Duke can say something about that as well. Then here comes Duke, then round the final corner. Then Duke jumps up to P2 with a 25.999 and puts himself there comfortably. Then as Sweeten's improved to a 25.4, and that is almost half a second ahead of his rivals as well then. So Sweet looking very comfortable indeed then in this qualifying session. Duke then onto the front row then in P2, Kiki then in P3, Mad Max in P4, Mark is still in the pit lane, he's P5, then Kamara Racer then is coming back to the pits, I'd imagine. He is in P6 there, Gino up into P7 with the 26.7 I should say for Williams. KD back out on circuit, then going through Luffield then into P8 for the time being, as Nigel's now displaced in with 26.8 as well then. 2,000ths of a second separating Nigel and KD then in the arrears then for now. Of course there is still 6 minutes to go in qualifying, so that could change, and there could be a lot of change. And as Tory's invalidated his time, then R2B heading on to the hangar straight then is 125 thousandths up on his previous time, which would beat his previous time, of course, but unfortunately that wouldn't gain him enough then to get himself ahead of his teammate currently in P14, just ahead of him as we head into Vale and Club now then for the Aston Martin. Then what's it going to be on those timing sheets then for R2B? Then that looked like a very slow entry to Club corner. Then around the final corner we go, then it's a 26.5, then keeps himself P15 I should say, but unfortunately does not improve his position then in this one as well. Then Farf starting off another lap as well there. Sweet and Duke then back in the pit lane. Sweet MJP, I think, is going to be very happy with this qualifying performance then, because he's very comfortable as it stands then for the Haas driver. Then Nigel as well improving then to P8, then both of the Haas is looking strong, both of the McLarens looking strong as well, then both Williams looking strong here as it stands as well. Then Coop then heading into Maggots and Beckett's. Then let's see what the Red Bull driver can do then in this iteration of his qualifying as we go through Maggots and Beckett's now then onto that hangar straight once again then, and he is gaining time then, a tenth of a second then in his pocket then as we go through then into Stowe corner now. Let's see what it's going to be this time then from Coop on the final lap, on this final lap I should say, as we now head into Vale as well then and into Club corner. Looking good indeed so far for Coop to improve on his previous time then round. Oh dear, that back end is all over the place then. That's going to unsettle the car and lose him a bit of time there, but he has improved just, but he stays P10 or goes up to P10. I'm not quite sure where he was, but P10 there, he has improved then to a 27.0 then, just ahead of Lewis Riley as well. Then Sloth then in the pit lane, Kaido in P13, then both Aston Martins as well, right behind both Racing Bulls as it stands. Tory back out on a track, then RTB coming into the pit lane, then here comes Farf, and Farf also coming back into the pit lane as well, then abandoning that lap time then for the Kick Sauber team. And there we are. Gino then heading through Luffield, then has found 68 thousandths of a second then in the first sector. That would not improve his position as it stands, as we've got quite a bit of traffic forming there on the on the Wellington Straight, but hopefully they're all okay, and good stuff. Right then, we can crack on as yellow flag still going out there then for, I think it's Kamara Racer then, who's having some sort of issues out there, but he's got himself sorted, and we can crack on then with Gino's lap then heading through Maggots and Beckett's now as well. Then 3.5 minutes or so to go in this qualifying session. Then Gino has invalidated his time. He was gaining 16 thousandths of a second. There's a Red Bull scampering off from the distance there, but he was gaining on his time only just there as well, then into sector 2 then, so maybe it's time to abandon this one and go back into the pit. He's still got time to go back out again and try another lap then as well. Then the same for Coop as well, I would imagine. Tory then is on circuit as well. Then I think Tory's invalidated his time, so unfortunately he's going to have to come back into the pits and try and get that get another set of boots on that car then and go again. Then again he's just about got time as well to start off another lap then, but unfortunately anybody else then who does have any issues will have to start again. Well, not have to start again, I should say. We'll not have time to start again then on their next laps as well. Then Jay Hing's about to start off his flying lap then for Mercedes to get a first time on the board here. We can't get on the game, says Indigo. Yeah, it's Farf is going to flump it, says Smithy. Then good stuff indeed. Sweets has gold pace then, says Goku. Says Star Story then, how are you guys racing then? We've just gone on the game and it's worked. Not saying that it's going to have not going to have any other issues in this race then, to be fair, but usually when EA have got some issues, then if you can get yourself on, then you can stay on. But yeah, it's probably just that. We'll wait and see. We've got to wait for the race to finish then. If we can get through it without any technical difficulties, that would be fantastic. As we head through then onto the old main straight for Jay Hings, then into Copse Corner we go then for the Mercedes driver, then flinging it in and sticking it then on the exit as well. Then good stuff indeed. And now Maggots and Beckett's, this is where he had a difficult time on his previous lap. Then let's see what Jay Hings can do then, rounding this chicane, well not chicane system, sorry, the S's system. He has got himself through there unscathed. Then he is... well, he's going slowly. So he's slowed down then, is Jay Hings there, unfortunately. So he's had some sort of technical problem then at the exit of Maggots and Beckett's there. But I'm not sure what has happened then for Jay Hings, and he has gone, well, he's not gone, he has just slowed down there, unfortunately, then, and now cruising then into the next part of the lap then. Is he going to come back into the pit lane? I think he's going to try and go again then, so maybe there was some sort of issue there on the exit of Maggots and Beckett's that had to be fixed before he could get himself going again then, but Jay Hings is back underway then to go for another lap, I think there is. So away he goes then, so we'll come back to that one then. We've got yellow flags out there then. Kydell is flying through into Maggots and Beckett's. There's quite a lot of traffic there as well then, heading through onto the Hangar Straight there, isn't there? So Kydell will have to negotiate through that, and they need to make sure they get out of the way then of this Racing Bull then, who is coming through then at 200 miles an hour then into Stowe Corner. The Haas gets out of the way just about in time. Kydell rounding Stowe Corner now, very nicely done indeed. That kick Sauber needs to make sure he makes it, get a hustle on, or get out of the way then quickly, because Kydell is coming through. Jay Hings has retired. He's gone straight on there, so that's interesting. Jay Hings then out of the qualifying session, and Kydell does not improve then on his previous time, then he stays P13. KD has retired in the pit lane, so that is his qualifying done and dusted then. P9 then at best for KD then, but of course there's a few drivers behind him who might want to displace that Alpine if they can, that is. So Jay Hings' car, and I'm not sure if he's just retired on track or something there, but I think he's hopefully he's out of the way. I think he has. It's just about out of the way. He's going into the old pit lane, which is interesting. But Jay Hings then, I think, just retiring on track then, which was not everyone's favourite thing to see in terms of the people on the track as well. Then who are right behind. It is a bit disorienting as well. Then of course, especially with the problem of the ghosting system in this game, which is not very accurate. Then, oh my goodness me, Duke then kicking it into Maggots and Beckett's then on the exit, then 3.5 tenths up on his previous time. Can he find even more time then into sector 3, I should say. Then Sweet and Repeat is staying in the pit lane. He's not coming back out then. He's happy with his time as he retires in the pit lane. Here comes Duke then into Club Corner then to finish off the qualifying then for the Williams team. Then what's it going to be as we round that final corner? Then Duke then up to the line. Can he rival the pole position? Not quite. Then he gets himself an improvement of almost 3 tenths of a second, but he stays P2. Kiki then does not improve, then he stays P3. Markey P4. Mad Max in the pits in P5. Camaro P6. Lewis Riley jumps up to P7. Then Raging Bull up into P8 on his first and only attempt in qualifying. Then Jinner can try and displace him. Then here comes Jinner, then rounding that final corner. Then Jinner up to P8, then ahead of Raging Bull. Nigel P10. KD in P11, then Cooper P12. R2B jumps up to P13. Sloth down to P14. Then Farf P15. Kydell P16. Tory is off the circuit in P17. Jay Hings having a bit of an issue on his final run, and Irvine is going to jump up to P18 with a 27.3. There we go then. Right then, KD is back then, says Styles. Yes, he is then, and in comes the tyre wear, says Stephen. None can get on the game, says Indigo. Then Evening Ads then come on with Sweet 100p, then says Pot Stuff. Then of course Sweet 100p currently on pole position, or setting pole position in this qualifying session. Then hopefully we'll be okay to start the Grand Prix, and yes, we'll wait and see what the lobby issues are going to be like then as we get ourselves into the 26 laps of action then to unfold here in Silverstone as well then. Well done Matty then as well then, says Pot Stuff. Then RT beat his sandbag into Styles. Coop for pole then, says Equus as well then. I don't want to see Jay Hings in bronze next season, says Styles then. Okay, well, it's a pad track. Wheel racers will struggle here, says Styles as well. So that is what the situation is in the comment section. And 2.5 tenths the gap then between Sweet 100p in Duke, then Kiki in P3, Markey and Mad Max, sorry, in the McLaren's P4 and 5, Kick Sauber of Kamara then in P6, then Ferrari of Lewis Riley, then Jinner in P8, Raging Bull P9, Nigel in P10, KD P11, then Coop P12, R2 Beat P13, Sloth in P14, Farf P15, Kydell in P16, Tory P17, Irvine in P18, and unfortunately for Jay Hings, then not a competitive lap time there, unfortunately having the issues on that final lap as well there. Good stuff indeed. Well, we'll have a quick word from our lovely sponsors then before we get ourselves into the racing action itself. Right, then we're about to get cracking then for 26 laps of British racing action then as well. Then a bit overcast just as it was in qualifying then for the start of this Grand Prix. Will there be some rain on the horizon later on then? And what will that do with the strategies as well? Then we'll find out then. Styles said, I'm on the wheel and I suck. So there we go. Hopefully that's just about me. I'm not on a wheel though, to be fair. But there we are then. We've got ourselves ready to get going then as we get ourselves cracking then. And again, similar to Gold as well then last night then, the majority starting for the medium compound tyre here in Silverstone, and only 3 drivers opting for a different strategy, and there's not a soft compound tyre in sight, so it's the hard compound tyres for Jenner in P8 and for Raging Bull in P9, and Farth as well then in the Kick Sauber then in P15 then. So only 3 drivers opting for the different strategy then, hard compound tyres to start this race for those 3. Everybody else then, including our pole sitter here then of Sweet MJP on the medium compound tyre. So that is going to be interesting stuff indeed. I need to get rid of that. And good stuff. We can crack on. Good luck all then from R2 Beat then. I am slow in quali, Styles says R2 Beat as well then. 100% you're doing way better than as well then, says Styles then. So of course that will be coming up then on Wednesday night. Then there's bronze tomorrow night as well then here in Silverstone. And then of course we've got the preset challenge as well then for the 100% then around Belgium of all places there as well then. So that's going to be fun stuff indeed, as we're going to get ourselves through that one as well then. 44 laps of action then on Wednesday night. That's going to be fun, and I'm going to be absolutely loving it indeed as well then, especially if it starts raining. But I don't want to jinx it. But there we go, as we head through then on the formation lap then to finish this off then and get ourselves into the 26 laps of racing to come then in just a jiffy as well there. But we'll see how the race is going to unfold then. Tyre strategies, tyre wear then going to be a big factor indeed. We'll find out in just a jiffy. But so far so good then, as everybody got themselves a lap time on the timing sheets then in qualifying at least. So that's one good point then from qualifying. But it was an absolutely frantic, well, it wasn't really that frantic then for this man here then. Sweet MP then nailed on pole position then very early on in the qualifying session with a 25.4. And was looking very comfortable indeed as well there, wasn't he? So we will see then what the rest of the field can do then to try and match this man here as well then, as we get ourselves lined up on the grid then for the start of the British Grand Prix. then. The lights are coming on then here in Silverstone. The 5 red lights are on then. The 5 red lights are off, and away we go then. A good start then from Duke, it looks like, then to try and get himself ahead of Sweet P, then into the first turn, but not quite. Then there's almost 3 wide in the back row between the McLarens, and he kicks out of Kamara Racer. My goodness me then, and Lewis Riley's going to fly around the outside there. Or is he? Because I can't really tell where he is then, to be honest, but there we go. As we head then into, oh, there's a Williams off of the circuit, then that's, what's that? That's Jenner then off the circuit there at turn 4, and now we go on to the Wellington Straight. Then Lewis Riley is all over the place there, but Kamara Racer's held station then and helped the place as well. Then Mad Max has dropped down the field as well. Then goodness me, Kydell's had an issue as well down the back of the field, and so has Coop as well. Then out there, it seems there's some sort of technical difficulties going on. Well, we know there's technical difficulties going on because it's an EA server situation there, but hopefully that's all right. Then everyone can get themselves rectified and back underway. We'll have the look then in the next couple of laps or so then what's going on then with the situation down there as well. But look at the gap then, already 1 second then for Sweet MJP then on his medium compound tyres. He is flying then in the Haas and is looking in close control then as we head on to lap 2 then in just a jiffy then. But will Duke be able to get himself back in that 1 second window with the DRS then enabled on lap 2? We will find out then. Kiki in close proximity as well. Then Marky then in P4. Then Kamara Racer up into P5. Lewis Riley then P6. Then we've got Nigel trying to pass Raging Bull round the outside. Raging Bull's on the hard compound tyre, so he's going to be a bit slower, I'd imagine, with the tyre warm up at this stage. Then heading into Vale and Club. Then goodness me, that was close indeed. Then both the Alpines now lying astern with KD up into P9. R2 P10, Farf up into P11 there as well. Then what's happened down the back of the order? Then Jay Hings, and Jay Hings got himself out 4 places, I should say. Then Ginner's had an issue. Then Coop's in the pit lane. What's happened to Coop then as well? Then goodness me, Mad Max then has had an issue as well. Then he's got himself back underway. Kydell also having an issue. Then he's lost 1 spot though. That's not too bad at this stage of the race. And of course DRS now available as well here. So Ginner then on the hard compound tyres. Did he just have a bit of a difficulty then getting those tyres warmed up, then has lost places because of that? Then he has lost 8 places though, so I think he had a bit of an incident then into this part of the circuit then on the previous lap, then on the first lap of course, but he has got himself back underway then and still in contention as well. Then Coop then has had to pit as well then. Has he had to have a wing change? We're not sure. He's onto sort of hard compound tyres then and away he goes now, but oh dear, that's a bit squirrely on the exit then of the pit lane there. Out in front then, Duke has not got himself in that 1 second window. It's now going to be under pressure from Kiki as well as we go through Maggots and Beckett's and on to the hangar straight then for the Williams driver. Then we'll come through then. I think there's a bit of connectivity issues, let's just say that as well, then going through here because of the EA servers then. So fair play indeed, and credit to all the drivers then who are still trying to put on a show for us tonight as well then, to be fair, because it's not going to be too easy then trying to spot where your drivers are then, and other drivers are as well, and that sort of thing going through into this race as well then. So we've got to put on the show then as best we can of course then, and drivers so far then putting on a show as well as we head now into Club Corner then. Mad Max trying to go round at the outside turn to the inside then of Kydell and has got himself through. Tori has been passed by Irvine then, or has he? Because he's fighting back then into the first turn. Then going to go side by side through here. Then Tori almost into the back of the Ferrari. Then as Irvine has taken the place then up into P13. I think Tori's then suffering with wheel issues as well then, so he's had to switch to the pad. Of course, pad is OP if you didn't know. But there we go then. So there we are then. And Percy then has said that Favre's forced Max off the track, and Max got on the gravel and destroyed Coop's wing then. So that's what's happened down there then. Tori then is passing Ginner then for the, oh god, there's contact then, and Tori's been forced off the circuit. Then Ginner then I think might have to concede that position, or Tori might have a word in the stewards room after that. Then as Mad Max has had an issue then on the exit of Luffield, then he's got himself into a spin there and he's got himself back around quickly enough though, but unfortunately has lost a bit of time there as well. Then can he get himself back underway is quickly enough? Then we'll find out. Then Ginner then is up in a P14 then. Of course he has lost 6 places as well. Then Mad Max, no it's not Mad Max, it's Kydell, as Kydell got a difficulty now as well then, going through Cop's corner as well. Goodness me, they're all falling by the wayside then. The pace has been pretty quick then from the leader then, and he's got a 1.3 second gap then over Duke. Then Duke is just about to try and bring that gap down, it looks like. Then R2 Beat has passed Farf for P10 then as R2 Beat with the aid of some DRS then into Stowe corner as well. They're now up into the top 10 then for the Aston Martin, and we're going to be chased very closely indeed by Farf on, oh dear, that's a bit of a curve then for Farf, but of course he's on the hard compound tyres, so he'll be going a bit longer then in this stint compared to those around him, I'd imagine. Raging Bull then on the hard compound as well. Then he is up into P7 then, and didn't get as bad a start then, to be fair, on those hard compounds as we thought he was going to get, as to be fair. So now he's just trying to hold on to that P7 position, but Nigel and KD are in close proximity then to try and get that place away. Then Tori's got a 3-second penalty then going through then into the Wellington Straight there. Unfortunately, Jay Hings then right behind. R2B has been repassed. Then Farf is now up into P10 then, passing the Aston Martin as well up into Luffield corner, then now into the top 10 as well for Farf. Of course, the longer this stint goes on, the better Farf's position will be then in terms of the tyre situation compared to those on the medium compound as well. Then Raging Bull, sorry, is also on the medium compound tyres, as is Jinner. So they will be, and Cooper as well now, of course, but they will be going to get themselves back in contention then later on in the stint, then having a longer first stint compared to those who started on the medium compound tyres. Right then, the top 4, well, just about the top 4, are all trying to sneak away. Then Kamara Racer has lost out. Then the Lewis Riley as well is in a bit of no man's land as it stands as well. Then no DRS, I don't think, for Lewis Riley. And he's got a bit of a gap then to Raging Bull, then, who is closing in then. The Alpine is closing in now. So maybe the medium compound tyre is starting to struggle here then already then in this Grand Prix. They didn't last long, did they? Finished on 88 to 90% tyres yesterday, says Eklaz. Yeah, the tyre wear around here is going to be a struggle indeed. Then we did see a mixture of 2 stops and 1 stop sending gold. Then we might see some more 2-stop strategies going unfolding here in Silverstone tonight from Silver. Then we'll wait and see how it's going to play out. But so far, then they're all soldiering on their tyres so well, and they don't need to worry about any stops just yet. Then they're going to have a couple more laps indeed before they have to start worrying about that sort of thing as we head on to the Wellington Straight once again. And now into Sector 2 then. Raging Bull then is closing in on Lewis and just about gaining a few tenths in every corner now as well then with those hard compound tyres. And then Nigel, to be fair, is just holding on to the back of the Alpine for the time being as well. Then he's in a bit of an Alpine sandwich, let's just put it that way. But a French sandwich, what's that? What's the French version of a cheese toasty? I can't remember what it's called now, but it's a French one, obviously. But some sort of French toasty. But anyway, we'll crack on then as we go through into Cops Corner then. Farf, of course, looking to get his first points of the season then as well, then heading into the midway point then of season 10 for Silver as we cross then into lap 6 momentarily there as well. Then Coop then is soldiering on, and then he's got himself onto a new set of hards now as well. Then so we'll be able to catch up then in the next few laps. Also then Sloth and Jinner then to switch places then into Stowe Corner. Then Jinner now ahead then on the hard compound and now chasing down Farf as his next target as well. Then Farf then starting to struggle. Then he's lost that bit of time then to RTB going through Stowe. So he needs to get himself back in that contention then for that P10 position then as well, then ahead of R2 Pete as well here. Then Nigel then is chasing down Raging Bull, but Raging Bull is now catching up, or almost caught up then to the DRS then of Lewis Riley. So Raging Bull on the hard compound tyres, it's working to his advantage now then for the Alpine machine. Of course, a fantastic race win indeed last week in Austria. Can he repeat the feat here then on the different strategy as well then on those hard compound tyres to start this race? Then Duke has got himself within DRS then of the race leader, the pole sitter then of Sweet MJP then. So has Sweet had an issue somewhere, or was there just some great pace there indeed from Duke? Then Cooper's retired in the pit lane and he's out of the Grand Prix, and that is him at the first retirement of this race as well. Then Irvine and Tory then are having a battle. Then Irvine's been passed by the Tory and up into, well, not the Tory, sorry, because no political views please, but has got himself passed by Tory then, and into P14 then goes the Aston Martin. Then unfortunately the Coupe then out of the race in the first retirement of this Grand Prix. Then Tory's got the first penalty of the Grand Prix as well then, so unfortunately the Coupe then is not going to be taking part then in this Grand Prix for the next 20 laps or so. And I think that was down to contact then on the first lap as we head then into Vale and Club once again, and we'll see what Duke is going to be up to then in this lap as well. Then he's got himself within that 1 second window. Kiki is coming with them as well. Marky's been dropped then by the top 3 then as it stands as we head through onto lap 7 of 26. Then Raging Bull now all over the back of Lewis Riley as well. Then he's dropped Nigel, I should say, and now this is where the hard compound tyres are kicking in as well here. Then Jay Hings also in the pit lane as well for Mercedes. Then he might be doing a 2-stop strategy then for Jay Hings. Coop is out of the session then, unfortunately then for Coop. Then we didn't see exactly what happened happened there, to be fair, on the first lap. There seemed to be a bit of a tangle then into turn 3 and 4, didn't there? R2 Beat and Farf are having a battle then as we go through. Then Farf has gone through then, and Jinner's gone through as well. R2 Beat's made contact with the back of the Williams then, and now the Racing Bull of Slough has snuck through as well, and Raging Bull has snuck through, passing Lewis. Then Lewis is definitely not... he's definitely having issues with the EA surface, let's put it that way. As Raging Bull now had a P6 then on those hard compound tyres. Then can he chase down Kamara Racer, then his next target as well here? Jinner then is Jinner and Slough are both past R2 Beat. Then Duke's got a 3-second penalty, and that's going to be costly indeed for a potential podium then for Duke. Then as it stands, then of course we have to wait and see how the whole race unfolds, I should say, goodness me. But Duke then picking up a penalty. Then I think at the exit of Cops, then that car is all over the place then. But again, it's probably not him, it's probably just the servers. So what can we do? Kiki then not within DRS then, but he is within that 1 second window. Duke has dropped out of that 1 second window then to Sweet and Repeater, who's once again charging off in the distance again then for the Haas team. Duke blocking up then, that's not going to be good news for the tyres as well. Then Kiki then is in close proximity, then Jinner and Farf then into Stowe. Then Jinner now ahead into the top 10 then for Jinner on the hard compound tyres. Then Farf going a bit wide then, but he's not got a penalty to his name just yet. Then Nigel and KD into the pits as well. Then a lap after Jay Hings, so Jay Hings could have been the instigator then of the 2-stop strategy as well here. Then we'll find out then as Jay Hings powering on then on the hard compound tyres. We'll be catching up then to this pair as well then as we go through then onto lap 8 then. So it's a bit of an early stop then, but mediums then do not last long around here, do they? As we have to try and get about 10 to 12 laps, and don't you, before you have any sort of chance of getting them to a 1-stop strategy sort of window. Jay Hings then through Club Corner then will be powering on and out onto the main straight then to start off his lap 8 as well then on the hard compound tyres. KD's gone for medium compound tyres, so that will be a 2-stop strategy then for KD then for sure. Then Nigel then is on to the hard compounds as well then for the Haas team then, so we'll have to wait and see what's going to be the next play then on the rest of the field then to try and cover them off as well then, because they're going to be very quick on their fresh tyres as well now over the next couple of laps or so then before the intervals start to drop as well. Then Kiki is within that 1 second window still of Duke then, but now 2 seconds the gap then to our race leader. There he is in the foreground then, there is Kiki and Duke then in the background, and they are battling then, not battling close enough though into Stowe Corner. They stay status quo. Just shows how important quality is as well then, says Equaz as well then. So unlucky then, says so unlucky Coop then, says Equaz then. And there we are then, into the pits comes Duke then. So Duke is calling it a day on his medium compound tyres from P2. And there we go then, so Duke then calling it a day then at the end of lap 8 then. So that's a very early stop then if you're going to try and make a 1-stop work here in Silverstone tonight then for the Duke. We'll come back to that one as well then. We've got Slough also in the pit lane. We've got a lot of more activity then. I think it's just all the people switching places then as they go into the pits. And Slough also in the pits for a new set of boots then. Duke then onto the hard compound tyres. Can he get those hard compound tyres 17 laps to the end of the Grand Prix? That will be a push. At an optimistic push, that is. But he is back out then on those hard compound tyres and back underway. Slough also going for the hard compound as well then for the Racing Bull driver. Then we'll see how that's going to unfold as well for Slough. Then Jay Hings is coming through then into first corner. Then he's going to be passing Slough as well then into that second corner as well. And Slough comes out then in P18 then, but now on the freshest tyres of the field. So we'll have to wait and see then. Kiki then is in a bit of a gap then with Marky then 1.5 seconds back. Then Kamara Racer then is under pressure now from Raging Bull then on those hard compound tyres. Are they going to try and eke those tyres to a 1-stop strategy then, or will they have to abandon it then and I should say that and go for a 2-stop then? Here comes Raging Bull then onto the hanger straight then with some DRS to play with as well then. He's going to get himself past, I am pretty sure then, with the extra pace then on those hard compound tyres. Then up into P4 then goes the Alpine machine as we head into Stowe then. The race leader then and the pole sitter has pitted then, so Sweet MGP is into the box now and calling it a day then on his medium compound tyres, I should say. Same for Lewis Riley as well then. So a few more pit stoppers then in this next interval then. On to lap 10 we go then. Kiki leads the way now. Marky then in P2. Raging Bull, is only 2 seconds behind then, and of course now on a better tyre, I'd imagine as well than Kamara. Then P4, Jinner then carries on. He's on into P5. Then what's happening in Farf is also in the pit lane as well. Then so there's a lot of more 2-stops. And the hard compound tyres not holding up there for Farf either. So it's going to be a 2-stop, I think, then for most of the drivers out there as well. Then apart from the top 9, then who is still soldiering on out here in this Grand Prix. So we will see. We'll have a good comparison, I suppose you could say, we'll have a good comparison there, of course, of what the two-stop and what the one-stop is going to look like at the end of this Grand Prix as well then, as Marky is catching up to Kiki now as we go through into Cop's corner. Then Kiki then starting to struggle with those tyres potentially there, and Kamara Racer then is held on to the DRS range then of Raging Bull, which is pretty good stuff indeed. Then 2.5 seconds the gap now for Raging Bull to catch up to Marky as we go through then into the end of lap 10. Then Kaidel and we've got Mad Max, then we've got Irvine as well, all carrying on then on their medium compound tyres. Kaidel going a bit wide then at Cops, and it's going to put him under a bit of pressure then from the McLaren. Then Duke, of course, now on his fresh hard compound tyres, as he has got himself an undercut then on Sweet MJP. Look at that then. So Sweet MJP is right behind him. He's got DRS, then has the Haas guy with him, but he's lost the let race lead, with Duke, of course, pitting a lap earlier as well. Then Kiki and Marky in the pits. Kamara Racer also in the pit lane as well. Then Raging Bull will inherit the lead of the Grand Prix here as we head on to lap 11 then of 26 so far. So good then for Raging Bull. Then Ginner is also going to come through for P2 on those hard compound tyres, I'd imagine, as we crack on then with a lot more pit stops. We can't really tell what is going on here with all the pit stops then, but hopefully when they get themselves out of the pit lane it will sort itself out a bit more. But there we are then. Irvine is carrying on then on his medium compound tyres. Then that's going to be a problem then for Duke and for Sweet MGP then, who are now stuck behind the Ferrari as well. Then and want to get themselves past as quickly as possible as well into this next section. Then they've got the Wellington straight. There's contact then from Duke then into the back of the Ferrari. Then you can't push to pass in F1, it's not legal, but the extra grip then as well. Then goodness me, then Duke almost into the back of the Ferrari then with the extra speed then on his hard compound tyres. And here comes Sweet MGP as well, then going through into sector 2. Then both got themselves past the Ferrari, of course, who's starting to struggle, or well, should be struggling, I should imagine, on those medium compound tyres, but he's carrying on then for the time being. Then Ginner then 9.6 seconds behind our race leader of Raging Bull. Then the Alpine machine then on the hard compound tyres. When will he have to call it a day then on those tyres and start to think about a pit stop soon? Sweet MGP then is still within the range then of the Duke. Then Irvine then is now into P5. Then I think he's going to have to be thinking about pit stop very soon though for the Ferrari driver. Kiki then is on the fresh hard compound tyres. He's 3.5 seconds back then from the duo that of course he was battling with then for the race lead then before the pit stop phase. That one extra lap then for Duke then, or two extra laps for Duke I should say, and the one extra lap for Sweet MGP has given them a bit more time then in the bank there as well then. But there we are then. Marky has passed Nigel on his hard compound tyres up into P7. Then Irvine is coming into the pit lane and calling it a day then on those medium compound tyres then just about now. Good stuff indeed then from Irvine, then calling it a day there on those tyres then is the good timing indeed as well. And KD is on medium compound tyres, the only driver remaining on the medium compound tyres. He has pitted for those tyres then 4 laps ago now, but of course we'll probably have to make another stop then in this Grand Prix as well. Then Irvine onto the hard compound tyres. Can they get to the end from here? He will have to give it a good go then, of course, but we'll see what he can do as we go through then on to lap 12 then of 26. And Irvine now, Raging Bull has got a 10-second gap then back to Ginner. Then Duke has got himself 3 seconds to try and find then on Ginner to get himself back in contention. His teammate then might not play too much of a hard ball then to let Duke through, but he might play a bit of a difficult strategy then for Sweet MJP then if they're going to soldier on and in this stint on those hard compound tyres. We'll find out then. Love 2009 says Mushroom and 10. I think they're talking about Hello France says Vessia as well then. Bronjaw then says Mushroom there. 17 laps on hards would be painful says Styles there as well then. And good stuff, yeah, so that's that then. As we head through then onto the hangar straight then, Sweet MGP has got some DRS to play with then as well to try and re-inherit the lead, I should say, after losing out then in the pit stop phase. Then of course he led the race then from pole position then to the pit stop phase, pitted 1 lap later than Duke then of course, and now Duke has got himself ahead here then. Ginner then heading into club quarter then. He's now only under 2 seconds ahead now of his teammate, and the gap, the tide that is coming back then into Duke and Sweet MGP's favour that is massive then as well. You can see the gains then in just in club corner there, almost a second then taken out of Ginner's time then on the older hard compound tyres compared to Duke's fresh hard compound tyres. We'll wait and see then when the moves will be made then as we go through then into the Wellington straight once again then for Duke. But are they going to try and do something here then to switch the cards around then for the Williams team then? Yes, Ginner's going to go to the outside then. He's got himself through then, has Duke then, and now Ginner then has got himself in between his rivals then of Duke then and Sweet 100p then. So Duke then is going to try and get a gap then, but look at the grip that Sweet 100p's got then round the outside of Luffield then, and now onto the old main straight then. This is where he's going to try and get himself, squeeze himself through then, is he? Or is he going to go for it, move into Cop's corner then? It's going to be tight indeed. Thankfully, he thinks better of it there, and very wisely indeed as well, as we go through then onto lap 13. But Jenna then doing a great bit of teamwork then. Not going to be a great bit of teamwork then from Sweet 100p's point of view, but he's doing what he has to do for the team then, is Jenna, I think, to be fair, and so long as he does it legally as well then. But we now go onto the hangar straight then, and here comes the Haas then on the attack then into Stowe corner then, and we're going to go through then. Sweet 100p has got the move done then, has he? Yes, he has. Then into Stowe corner, then up into P3 goes the Haas of Sweet 100p, and up into the podium places once again then. Of course, then 11 seconds now the gap between Raging Bull then and Duke as well then. So Raging Bull is doing a fantastic job then in this stint then on those hard compound tyres, it has to be said, as we head through then. Kamara Race now all over the back of Lewis Riley as well, going through into Club corner now as well, and Tory and Jay Hings have switched places as well here then into Stowe corner then, and right behind is the McLaren and R2 Beat as Mad Max had already an R2 Beat then into Vale and Club corner as well here. Jay Hings is out of the race, so he's decided to call it a day here as well. Goodness me, that's good stuff. So two drivers then pitting and quitting in this Grand Prix, and are done and dusted then, as we go through then into the next part of this race. The second half of this race then has got underway then on the previous lap, so we'll see how that's going to unfold then here tonight then, as we get ourselves through then on lap 14 then. So Jay Hings and Coot then out of the Grand Prix then, both in the pit lane at separate times. They weren't going together, but yeah, so unfortunately then two drivers then out of the Grand Prix, and Luke then, who couldn't get himself woken up for this Grand Prix as well, so that's a shame. But there we are then, heading into Maggots and Beckett's there as well then for Kiki then, now all over the back then of Ginner, and of course Ginner then yet to pit in this Grand Prix. We've now only got two drivers yet to pit in this Grand Prix, and that is our race leader now currently of Raging Bull, and this man here as well then, Ginner then, who's now under pressure from Kiki as we go onto the hangar straight, I should say then, with some DRS to play with. Then Kiki is through then and up into P4 and into more of a challenging then, 4.4 seconds the gap then to the podium then as it stands. But of course Raging Bull has yet to pit then. Ginner is into the pits now then for Williams, and calling it a day then on his hard compound tyres. Can he get the mediums 11 laps or so to the end of this Grand Prix from here? Then that's going to be very difficult stuff indeed. We'll have to wait to see. Jay Hings, you need points to stay in silver, says Styles in. Styles definitely doesn't want Jay Hings coming back to bronze there as it stands, but yeah, Jay Hings unfortunately out of this Grand Prix then. Ginner onto the medium compound tyres is back underway, but he's going to be behind a bit of a gaggle then of cars as we go through then, as they all filter through then in towards turn 1. I think he's going to come out then in P16. There he is then. Right into the mix then on the medium compound tyres then. Irvine, I think, has pitted again then, hasn't he, for hard compound tyres, and back underway then. 7 seconds the gap then, so the gap coming down from 11 then down to 7.3 now for Raging Bull then, so you might be thinking about a pit stop then in the next few moments time as well then for the Alpine machine. Then of course he's soldiered on those hard compound tyres. Can he keep them going then for another lap or two then to make sure he can get those mediums on his next stint then into the final lap then, onto the final lap then to the checkered flag, I should say. Nigel then up into P6 then, has passed Lewis Riley as well here then into Maggots and Beckett's now. The Ferrari then and the Kick Sauber of Kamara Racer then challenging then for that P6 position then as we head onto the hangar straight. Then Raging Bull's got a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and that is going to be costly indeed then at the end of this Grand Prix. Unless he makes another stop, then he will have to serve it in that pit stop then, but it will be added onto his race time then at the end of the Grand Prix, and going a bit too quickly there into the pits then for Raging Bull, then that is going to be very costly indeed then. But back underway and on his fresh medium compound tyres, can he fight back in this Grand Prix? Then KD also in the pit lane, calling it a day on the medium compound tyre for the other Alpine driver as well here, so I think he might get slightly held up in the pit lane there. But Raging Bull coming out in P8 then, and has got himself back underway. Then KD also in the pit lane then for the other Alpine driver as well. Then hard compound tyres going on to the end of the Grand Prix then for the second Alpine on track, that is, as gets himself back underway then as well. Then Irvine then has got himself through then into P16 then with KD's pit stop, but we'll have to wait and see how it's going to unfold then in this last 10 laps here in Silverstone now. Sweet MJP has almost got himself back within DRS then of Duke as well. Then Duke has got that 3-second penalty then, so that is going to come back to haunt Duke, I think, Martin then, who is currently leading the Grand Prix, but 3 seconds added to his race time for track infringements then is going to be costly indeed then, and lose him out on this race win potentially as we head through then into the hangar straight then at the end of lap 16 then of 26. Then we've been flying through this race, to be fair. Brilliant stuff indeed. Tactical quit, says Slush from there. So there we go. So Sweet Enterprise now has got himself within that 1 second. He's got 1 lap younger tyres as well then. So this could be much more beneficial than towards the end of the Grand Prix. But so long as he can get himself back in that contention then already then on lap 16 on to lap 17 now. Sweet Enterprise is looking pretty good indeed then as we head through then into lap 17 as well. Then 5 seconds back then is Keychains then. If he can get himself within that range then of the 3 second penalty, then he could get himself up into P2. Then Kaido and Tori then are switching places. Then Tori down into P14, with Kaido up into P13 now, chasing down Mad Max. There's a bit of a gaggle there, look at that, then heading through Club Corner, that's Farf, that's Sloth, Archer Beat, Mad Max, Kaido and Tori then filtering through, then Jinner is going to catch all of them then on his fresh medium compound tyres, and Mad Max is off the circuit, and he's gone through then, and Jinner's gone through as well then, so Mad Max has had an issue at Club Corner, then he's back underway. Jinner sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, heading on to lap 17. And Lewis Riley has he passed, or where is he? Goodness me then. So we go through then into Luffield, and he has got himself through, I think, up into P5 there, but I think definitely suffering with the EA issues there as well. Then Tori has been passed by Jinner now in towards Sector 2, then he's got himself up into P13 now as Jinner on his medium compound tyres. He's going to have to work those medium compound tyres to get into the end of the Grand Prix from here, then it's going to be very difficult stuff indeed. Can it be done? We'll have to wait and see then. Slough now into P10 then is chasing down this man here, a Farf, then he's looking to get his first points of the season on the board then. Raging Bull then on his medium compound tyres as well now is trying to catch up to Kamara Racer then, and to Nigel and Lewis then, who are all in a bit of a fight then into Stoke Corner. Not quite then for Nigel, he's too far back to make the move then. Sweet MJP is all over the back now of Duke then, heading on to lap 18, so Sweet MJP is looking to inherit that lead as well then. Nigel is into the pit lane, so Nigel is calling it a day then on his hard compound tyres, and has he got another set of medium compound tyres to go on to then to the end of this Grand Prix? We'll find out in just a jiffy then. Raging Bull will be very happy about that because he's inherited another position there, even though he's got that 10-second penalty, which is going to be he's going to be ruining that 10-second penalty towards the end of the Grand Prix, because it's going to lose him a couple of places, I'm sure. Our race got cancelled, says Indigo, dearie me, and final lap's going to be a struggle, says Stephen as well. Then evening boys from Housie as well, then new full-time driver then for Housie, as he's joined the Aston Martin team in bronze tomorrow night as well here, so good stuff indeed. Kamara Racer then is looking to try and challenge Lewis Riley for that P5 position. Nigel's got himself out of the fight here and put himself onto a set of, where has he gone? He's been passed then by Irvine as well here, to be fair, out of the pit lane then, it looks like then for the Haslin, but now underway then on his fresh medium compound tyres. KD and Irvine then of course pitted then a couple of laps before, and Nigel on the attack then is going to go for it then down towards Sector 2, then he's got himself up into P15 now and back underway. So we'll see how quickly he can gain then on his fresh medium compound tyres then in the next part of this race. Then only 7, I can't do the maths, 8, I can't, something like 7 or 8 laps to go then, something like that. Trying to do the calculations in my head is too difficult, but technically currently Raging Bull then will hold on to that P7 position then, because Farf is 13 seconds back then as we head on to the hangar straight. Then Farf then has got this gaggle of cars coming through then right behind him as well. Then Jinner's got himself up into P11 now, and oh dear, looking for a move then into Stowe Corner then, but he's a bit too far back, but he's gaining so much with the extra grip then on R2B then, and now can he go for a move down the outside, which will turn to the inside. There's contact there between R2B and Farf is in the pit lane. I think, oh, somebody's happened. R2B's got a 3-second penalty for cutting a corner, which doesn't seem right there, because it was contact there that forced him off the circuit then. R2B has dropped down then to P11 then behind Kaido. That 3-second penalty I'm sure will be removed for that infringement, or that warning at least, will be removed for R2B. Then Irvine's got a 3-second penalty as well. Then Farf is in the pit lane for medium compound tyres, so 2-stop strategy then going on for the kick salver of Farf as well here. Then will we start to see some punctures then in this Grand Prix? We might do as we get towards the closing stages. Then Jinner's got himself up into P8 now, and up and passing Sloth, I should say, then into as R2B's passing Kaidel then as well, and Sloth's gone wide. Then can R2B sneak down the inside there? Then not quite then for the Aston Martin starting then. We've got Raging Bull passing Kamara Racer for P7, and we've got a challenge for the lead as well. Then there's contact, it looks like, there between Sweet MJP and Duke then, and Duke has held on to the lead of the Grand Prix then into Stowe Corner. They've lost a bit of time there as well. Then Raging Bull has passed Lewis Riley as well then on his medium compound tyres up into P5 now. Can he get scampering off into the distance then to get that 10 second gap then as we head through then, as Lewis Riley is into the pits then, calling it a day on his hard compound tyres as well then. So there's still stops to come in this Grand Prix. 10-second penalty for Lewis Riley, unfortunately, there as well then. As same for Raging Bull. Into the pits then a bit too eagerly as well there. Kamara Racer then is looking to try and hold on then to the back of that Alpine as much as he can. Then soft compound tyres going on for Lewis Riley then. That is going to be a quick lap indeed then, and of course he will get that fastest lap point then, so long as he finishes the Grand Prix. So there we are. But he's going to lose out a couple of places and Virginia up into P7 now as well then, and now chasing down Kamara Racer. There's 15 seconds the gap though, so unfortunately Virginia then it's going to be quite a task going to try and catch up here. Will we see them trying to eke their tyres out to the end of this Grand Prix from here on now then as well? Then Lewis Riley out in front of his teammate then just about, then Farf then is coming through to start off lap 20 as well then. Of course, like I said, if there's anybody starting to suffer then, and that is going to be quite a few drivers out there, then Farf will be able to gain as well then with the extra pace on his medium compound tyres. R2B up into P8, passing Sloth then for that position as well then, heading into sector 2, and R2B has got 2 lap younger tyres than Sloth as well then. Mad Max as well then is looking to get himself into P9 potentially as well then in the next couple of laps or so. Then can Sloth get those tyres to the end of the Grand Prix from here? It is going to be a stretch and a half then indeed then for the Racing Bull driver then. The same then goes for Duke as well, to be fair then, in the race lead. Then he's now under pressure still again then from Sweet MJP then, heading into lap 21 then of 26 here. Well, on wheel, it was roughly 70% wear then, says Potstop as well then. So I think there's should be an easy one stop then. I think there's going to be a few drivers that are going to be refuting that claim there as well then. As Sweet MJP's gone wide there into turn 3 and 4. He's going to be just about within DRS range as well. Then Tori's picking up a 3-second lap as well. Then unfortunately, then Mad Max Sloth is in the pit lane, so Sloth calling it a day as well. Then there's still pit stoppers to come in this Grand Prix, which is fascinating to see. Like I said, a few drivers then are having to call it early, to be fair then, or having to call it a bit late, to be fair as well, honestly, but having to call it then on the fly literally, because because it's just too unpredictable as well. Therefore some of them as drivers were fantastic stuff indeed then in terms of a spectacle of what we're watching, but I'm sure the drivers are not too happy about it as well. So now we've got Kiki then, who's 2 seconds behind the race leaders as well then, so Duke then could lose out then. As it stands then, he could lose out 2 positions then with Sweet MJP then, and Kiki getting himself past then with the penalty situation then for the Duke as well. We'll wait and see then how it's going to unfold then in the last 5 laps of this Grand Prix. But there is Kiki in the background then, Marky then holding on for P4 then as it stands then, but Raging Bull might have something to say about that, and then if he can get himself within that range. The problem Raging Bull's got is that penalty, unfortunately then, which is that 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. So currently he will lose out to drop down to P6 then, as Duke has got a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well. Then goodness me, they're all tumbling in then, and I think Duke has very wisely called it a day before he got to a puncture territory there as well. But that 10 seconds is going to be very costly indeed then. Will we see any more people come into the pits in the very end of this race then? Marky's up into the podium places now. Duke's gone for the hard compound tyre. Hopefully that should get him to the end of the Grand Prix, but that's a bit of an interesting call there as well then from the Duke as we head through onto lap 22 then. Where will he come out then in respect to his teammate? I think he'll be ahead of his teammate here. He will, but he will have that 10-second bonus, as Lewis Riley has got a 10-second penalty of pit and quit with only 4 laps to go then here in this race then. Fantastic stuff indeed. I wish I could pit and quit, as I always say when people start pitting and quitting, but there we go, as another one out in the dust then is Lewis Riley then. Another one bites the dust is the words, isn't it? But there we go then, heading on to lap 22 then. Can we get those tyres eked to the end of the race then, or will we have to see some more pit stops then? So now Sweet MJP then is the race leader once again here as we go through then into Maggots and Beckett's then. He's going to have to try and get another 4 laps out of these tyres then. Can he do 16 laps on those hard compounds is the question then. Duke decided it was not worth the risk then. Will Sweet MJP have to do the same thing as well then? Will Kiki inherit the lead? Will he have to pit as well then in the next couple of laps then? The same for Marquis as well. We'll find out. Kamara Racer could have to do the same thing, as there's all sorts of issues going on out there as well then with the pit stops, it looks like then. But fair play indeed. And like I said again at the beginning of this race, then fair play indeed for all drivers then to putting on a show then, because of course the technical difficulties that they might be driving through as well then with the EA servers are not going to be good as well then. So fair play indeed then, as Mad Max has taken the position then from R2 Beat for now, that is, as we go through then on to lap 23. And these three then staying out as well. Then Jenner of course is on the younger tyres on the medium compound, but of course they might be starting to struggle at this point now as well, to be fair, for the Williams driver as well. So we might see Duke then be able to hold on to a P6 potentially then in the next few laps as well. Those fresh hard compound tyres will be firing up nicely indeed, and maybe able to get himself a nice gap then to his teammate. We'll find out then. Kiki is okay. His wheel was $2,000, says Mushroom there. Goodness me. Right then, so he's got a 2.2 second gap then to Sweet P. Can Sweet P's tyres hold on is the other question then. So Duke pitted with 13 lap old hards then to make sure that he can get himself to the end of the Grand Prix, which is probably a safer shout indeed then, to make sure he can get some points on the board. Then KD has passed Tory then into P12 then for the Alpine machine then on his hard compound tyres as well. Then much fresher hard compound tyres for KD, so he might be able to get a few moves done then into the top 10 potentially then in the next few laps or so. Nigel is caught up to this gaggle then right behind Jenner at the moment then in the Williams then in P7. So Nigel then down to in P10 I should say, as Raging Bull has left the session, and oh my goodness me, then I'll get him an invite. There we go. I'll quickly send him a quick invite there, so hopefully he can get himself in back again then, as he is already in. So I'm not sure what's going on there then. So Raging Bull then out of the session then, and well, I'm very sorry about that, because he was looking good indeed. Then even still with that penalty then to get himself a few points there as well then, or more than a few points I should say. But hopefully he can get himself back in the session quickly as well. Then Duke has set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, so that will be an extra point as well then for the Duke. Jenner then is now 7.6 seconds behind them, so that 10-second gap then for Duke might be on the cards as well here. So hopefully Raging Bull can join back in as well. Then that 10-second penalty then wouldn't affect him either, but we'll have to wait and see then, as Raging Bull then is the only other problem we've got is that potentially Raging Bull's car pits itself under the AI there, but we'll have to wait and see. So I think the leaders then, the top four, are all starting to struggle on then with hard compound tyres to just try and get them to the end of this Grand Prix here. Whilst controlling the pace, then Jenner has been passed by Mad Max and up into P7 then for the McLaren. Then Jenner looking to go wide round the outside into Luffield to get a better exit than out onto the old main straight there. But we'll wait and see then how it's going to unfold then in this Grand Prix. The tyre wear is playing a massive factor indeed, but we'll wait and see then how it's going to finish then, with 2 laps to go then, as the leaders then come into Club Corner then to finish off lap 24. Lap 25 and 26 to come then. The penultimate lap of the Grand Prix is underway in just a jiffy, as we head through then into the hangar straight then once again for Mad Max then. So now Raging Bull can't get himself back in the session then, so he's going to have to just soldier on and try and finish this race as an AI. Duke has gone through then for P5. And like I said, again, we'll hold on to that position and potentially gain more than if he can get himself, if there's anybody who's got any issues then out there ahead of him as well then. So they've done 14 laps on their hard compound tyres. They're going to be screaming at this rate then. Sweet has done 15 laps to be fair, and that's not going to be too healthy indeed, I don't think, for those tyres as well. Look at the speed on Alex, typing faster than lightning, says Stephen. I'm not typing. I'm not typing, I'm commentating, but there we go. Kiki is on his wheel, should do, says Pot Stuff as well, then should get to the end of the Grand Prix. So that's what Pot Stuff does. I think what he's thinking then in the engineer's booth then. So if the engineer has said something, then we have to believe it, because it's always going to be right there. Better than I can do in predicting what I'm going to be seeing and saying on the circuit then as well. Then as we go through then on lap 25, then are we going to see a replica then of a Lewis Hamilton finish then from Sweet P? Then is he going to have to crawl to the finish with a puncture? Then we'll have to wait and see as well then, as we go through into Stowe then to finish off lap 25. Then one more lap remaining for Sweet P to claim the victory here, but I don't want to jinx him, so I'm going to go and watch somebody else. Jenner then is trying to get himself back past Mad Max, but I think those medium compound tyres have faltered now for the Williams driver. Unfortunately, then Raging Bull then is still going as well. Well, he's not going on the medium compound tyres, is he? Because he's unfortunately out of the session. He might lose out then to the top 10 as well here. Then, unfortunately for Raging Bull, which is a big shame indeed. Like I said, fair play indeed to the drivers who have stayed in the session and have had the issues with the connectivity as well. Then with EA, because it's been an EA server issue tonight. Then that's had quite a few problems out there as well. Then. So fair play indeed to everyone who has carried on then in this Grand Prix and got themselves as far as they have got themselves then in this Grand Prix. Then hopefully they can finish off the final lap of the Grand Prix as well, as we go through then into the final couple of corners then for first couple of corners I should say, then for these drivers. And Mad Max of course has got himself past Raging Bull. Then it's a real shame indeed, because Raging Bull on the opposite strategy was looking pretty good indeed for a P4, P5 potentially as well. The 10-second penalty might have played a factor then, but he would have still got some good points here, but a big shame indeed for Raging Bull then. And we go through then into Maggots and Beckett's once again then for the race leader. Then all he needs to make sure he doesn't do is get a puncture then in this stage of the race then, and hold on to that race lead as we head into the final couple of corners then for Sweet MJP, then powering along towards Stowe Corner. Then this could be a very easy place to get a puncture then as well then, but thankfully it looks like it's all held together then for the Haas driver then, as we head down into Vale and Club for the final time. And Sweet MJP is going to claim victory here then for the Haas team then in Silverstone. Then what a race then, from pole position to the checkered flag. Then Sweet MJP wins in Silverstone. Then what a result then for the Haas driver. Then what a result for the team as well. Then brilliant stuff indeed then from Sweet MJP. Then a fantastic race win there for Team Haas as well then. Kiki in P2, then a brilliant race indeed from Kiki in the Red Bull there, gets himself into P2 as well. Then I think he would have got that P2 position anyway with Duke having that penalty there, but Duke decided to get himself into the pit lane and will hold on to P5 in the end. Then Markey rounds off the podium places then for his return then in the McLaren. Great stuff indeed from Markey then to get himself bouncing back then in the championship fight as well. Then we've got Kamara Racer in P4 in the end then as well. The good result then from Kamara Racer. Then Duke in P5 in the end then, after making that late stop then, and the 10-second penalty added on doesn't demote him down any positions there, I don't think. Then Mad Max in P6, then Jinner in P7, Nigel P8 in the end, then Kaidel P9, and somebody else around the rest of the order there. Wow, good stuff indeed. They're getting there finally, their first win then, says Potstuff. Then a fantastic race win indeed then from Sweet MJP then here tonight. We'll run through the full classification then after the podium celebrations there, but there is the Haas then of Sweet MJP on the top step there as well then, at a very nice Silverstone podium as well. Kiki then in P2 for Red Bull then, and of course Markey in the McLaren in P3 tonight. GG's guys for stars as well then. Very good stuff indeed. Well done lads, says Housey as well. Then there is the podium celebrations kicking off then here in Silverstone. We are done and dusted then for tonight then. Oh dear, just perfect timing. Now I've got communicating with online services. Oh, I've been booted out. Oh no, I haven't. I'm all right. Good stuff indeed. There is the classification then for the British Grand Prix. We'll very quickly skip over that because we just no. Oh, please let me just. Oh, please let me screenshot the standings, please. This is where it gives up. To be fair, if it gives up now, it's not so bad, to be honest. So fair enough. But yes, I think we'll end it there, to be honest, because that's it. Literally has died a death then at the very end of the. At the very end then of the session, I think. So to be fair, if it's going to give up, then thank God it gave up then at the end of lap 26. But as we'll try and get a screenshot of the standings if we can, but I can't quite get there at the moment. But yeah, fair play indeed then to everyone who finished the Grand Prix then, and we'll jump into some interviews in just a jiffy and hopefully get something underway as well here. But I think I've got the screenshots now, so that's fantastic. Right then, we'll get some interviews underway, shall we? As we start off then with with Markey then. Markey in P3 tonight then on your return. Then how was that for yourself then after getting yourself back in the seat then for after 3 weeks away?
Yeah, I'm happy with that, mate. It was it weren't expected, that one, to be honest, but some tyre management at the end got me over the line, I think.
And back on the podium, then, of course, your championship challengers, then Moranov not racing, then your teammate not racing tonight, then, and of course, Duke then finishing, in P5 in the end tonight as well, without any other issues. I don't think this has gone on, then we'll wait and see. But like I said, a very good result indeed for yourself tonight, then. And how does that put you in for the championship, then, going into the second half of the season?
Absolutely, mate. I'm not too sure if I overtake Duke at the moment with them points, but yeah, it's all good news for me, I suppose. Yeah, good.
And well, once again, we've got the second half of the season starting off then next week, then in Belgium. Then, what's your plans then for the next 10 rounds then to try and get yourself into the top of the order for the championship?
Get some practice in and hopefully get some good results and see if we can get that top spot.
Great stuff indeed, and congratulations then, Marky, then in McLaren. Cheers, then mate. P3 tonight then in Silverstone as well. We'll jump over to Kiki then, P2 tonight as well. How was that race from your point of view?
It was all good, man. Easy. No, I'm joking. No, it was all good. Just got a punch on the last lap, but Mikey was too far behind me to catch me, so second was alright for me.
And like I said, another fantastic win then. Are you going to be trying to challenge for the top 3 in the championship then in the next second half of the season?
Nah, I'm just going to back off now so I can stay in silver for another season. Goal's too fast for me.
What a wimp. Okay, brilliant stuff. There we go then. That's that then. Great stuff indeed. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Sweet 100p then is P1 then. Unfortunately, he hasn't not joined us tonight then, but congratulations to Sweet 100p then on a fantastic race win then, the first race win of his silver season. And we'll be back in action tomorrow night then in bronze then here in Silverstone as well then, and we will see how that's going to fare then for the bronze division, of course, and 100% then back in action as well on Wednesday in the lovely Spa-Francorchamps. So we'll see you there.